What is up, all you GBA type people? This is Tom. I'm here bringing you guys a Week 8 match against Gym Leader Geo and the San Francisco GiEnteis. Battle of the Bay is on again, going against my favorite person in the GBA, my favorite coach to watch, someone who I can say very wholeheartedly is a good friend of mine. Like you saw in the Team Builder last week, when he did, the one he did for Aaron, I should say, I was there. People didn't think I looked the way that I sound, which I agree to an extent. But, very fun hanging out with him, someone who I like, talking to and being an actual friend within the GBA. Something that I can't really say has been the overall motif in the GBA for a little while, I'd say. So we're going to go into the team real quick. We have my Double Dance Lando. We have my Breaker sets being my Haban Lore Komo'o, my Mega Houndoom, Spadef Aguav Rhyperior, Spadef Spike Stack Roserade, as well as my Spadef Volt Switching Rotom. Now, when you look at his team, no ground types, so we don't see Good Trio, we don't see Mega Scizor, we don't see Rabombi, Blacephalon, or Rotom Fan. We do see Archeops, which I assume is going to be his lead, Ditto, shocker, Mew, shocker, Toxapex, which it really is a good stopper to a few things on my team, Haxorus, which and Shaman, obviously, those two I 100% expected just because of how good they are against my team overall. So, looking at his team, I expect Mew to be some sort of like offensive setup set, maybe even get past stat boosts. Ditto's going to do what Ditto does, is copy and be faster. Archeops, I expect to be a lead because I don't see any other rocker on his team. I don't think Mew wants to carry rocks. Pex, maybe could have T-Spikes, but I don't expect it to lead. Same thing with Shaman or Haxorus. I don't expect Haxorus to hit the field until way later in the match when he knows he has some good information about my team overall. My initial plan was to lead off with the Roserade, but I didn't want to lead off with it in case he led off with Archeops, and that would pretty much just annihilate Roserade right off the board. Not a big fan of that. I'm going to lead with Rotom. I know it's not super surprising, but it's my best opportunity to get some really good damage off against Archeops. And it puts me in a good position just to pivot right out. Like I said, no ground type. He has two resists, which if they come in, I can just pivot right out into whatever I want to. But I don't necessarily expect him to switch. He could U-turn here. It's not going to do that much damage. He could just get up his rocks, which I expect. Rocks are really nice against my team, especially for Mega Houndoom. And, it just gets off some really good chip damage on a lot of the things that I'm going to be bringing in to try and chip away at his team, So I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go right in Houndoom. I know I'm going to take 25%, but I'm okay with that. Just because Houndoom is going to be coming in on rocks for a lot of this season. It's not really the biggest deal just because I know right here I can get off a Dark Pulse. He does bring in Toxapex. It is going to allow me to see what this is. Whether it's defensive, it'll be upwards like 45%. But if he is Spadef, it's going to be doing probably about 25 to 30% because Toxapex is a bulky boy. And we're going to see right here, as a Dark Pulse, Toxapex, I don't know what this is going to be up until right now. It's Spadef. It is going to be able to take a lot of hits, but I also see now that he has no item. So maybe he's Shukaberry, maybe he is potentially some sort of, like a weirder set. I don't necessarily expect like AV because I think recovery is really important for him. He could be AV, but who knows. I'm going to go to Roserade. It's very safe switching. I don't want to go into like Rotom in case he goes for Toxic. He can go for Scald. It's really no big deal if Roserade gets burned. Obviously has Natural Cure. But he goes for Knock Off. He's going to knock off my Black Sludge. I'm going to get a layer of Spikes. Since I know he's not Black Sludge, if I can get up 2 to 3 layers of Spikes, that puts him down to about 25%, which means it's not good for him to come in on Dark Pulses repeatedly, especially if he's not at full HP, I should say. So I would make a hard switch right out into Mew. We do see U-turn, so right here I'm fully expecting some sort of support, but also an offensive set. The U-turn damage didn't really show me anything, but it does allow me to see that he is not like a Baton Pass set, he's not like a bulky set, and he probably has Ice and Fire coverage. Fire coverage for Scizor, Ice for Lando. He probably is EV to be faster than both of them, and maybe his last one's like Soft Boiled is what I expect. But he's going to U-turn out into Shaman. This is obviously a problem, but I do have Houndoom in case if he goes for either A, Psychic, B, Seed Flare, or C, Dazzling Gleam, all of which Houndoom can resist. And I think the middle ground play was either Seed Flare or Psychic, but with Houndoom alive, he wouldn't click Psychic if he had it until this thing was properly handled. I'm going to click Dark Pulse, so I know for a fact he is not staying in. I'm going to take a Flamethrower. I'm going to go for Dark Pulse, and I'm not really going to lie. I'm going to keep clicking it, because I know if I get a flinch, I have the capability of getting into KO range. Do get the flinch. I'm not complaining. It's kind of what Houndoom was going to be doing anyway, just staying in here and dying. He does live at like 7 HP, and he's going to Skull to knock me out. This is not a big deal, because Houndoom obviously was dying anyway when it was switching out. He's going to knock out Houndoom. This does put me in a precarious position, because now Archeops is faster than my entire team, but it is in defeatist range, and I could pretty much knock it out with a hard gust of wind. So I'm going to go right into Rotom. I'm going to Volt Switch out. Not even going to try and overpredict here. Not going to try and pain split things and go into Shaman. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to Volt Switch right out. Knock out this Toxapex. I think it handled what it needed to, because a lot of my team does handle Toxapex extremely well. He doesn't know what kind of Komodo this is. Could have Earthquake. Lando, same thing. Rhyperior, all of that. So I'm just going to Volt Switch right out. Going to get into Roserade. It's my best possible option. I know we can go into Mew here. And before I keep going, I mean, I had the opportunity of going into something different. But the thing is, if I went to Rhyperior, you can go into Shaman. If I went to Komodo, you can go into Shaman. If I went into, let's see, if I went into Landorus, I didn't really want to go into it, especially if Mew is at full HP, because I'd be required to set up. Didn't want to do that just yet, so I am going to go into Roserade. I know I can take a Psychic, I know I can take an Ice Beam, and I can get up another layer of Spikes. I didn't really see anything better that I wanted to go into, especially with the rocks up, so I'm just going to stay in. I'm going to live at one! And I'm going to go for another layer of Spikes. This is going to be really nice just to ensure that I get some good passive damage off against Haxorus, Ditto, Shaman, and of course this Mew right here. He's going to go for U-turn, knock me out. This puts me again in a precarious position where I can now choose what I want to go into, responding on whatever he goes into. I expect him here to go into Shaman. I think it was his best possible option. But he ended up going to Archeops. I thought Shaman just because offensively it pressures my team as a whole. But Archeops in defeatist, if this thing is carrying like U-turn, carrying HP Ice, whatever. HP Ice doesn't knock me out because he is in defeatist. U-turn, he would just pivot right out, which allows me to get up to get a Rock Polish up. Now, we do see Endeavor, and this kind of worried me, but when I clicked the Polish, it doesn't matter. Like that, it didn't matter whatsoever, because right now I am set up to just hit things. I'm going to click Fly. It would be a little bit worrisome had he gone for U-turn and had he pivoted out into Ditto before I had Rock Polish, because I'd have been faster than Ditto, because the Rock Polish wouldn't have gone off. His Ditto would have been Scarfed, and he would have actually been slower than Landorus. And based on the fact that, well, I would still have been at high HP, so it wouldn't really have mattered. I'm going to go for Fly, 95% accurate move, and of course I miss. So that's how I work. I just got a case of the monos right there. I'm going to click my Z move, because based on what he is in right now, and based on the Ice Beam damage against Roserade, I could fully assimilate he has three things. One, he's faster than Scissor, he's faster than Landorus. Two, he is fully special attack invested because of how much damage into Roserade. If he had no special attack investment, I lived that Ice Beam, and it likely would have been his best move, not Ice Beam, to hit Roserade. So that means that he doesn't really have all that much HP, he's not that bulky defensively or in HP. I can knock him out with a Tectonic Rage. Very nice to actually see another Z move get a kill, especially for my team. He is going to go into Ditto, and right here I know the tech is going to work! I don't care what he does, because whatever he goes into is going to take a Fly. Whether it's Haxorus, whether it's Archeops, whether it's Shaman, it's, super effective. I don't know if he's Koba Berry, but I don't really care. And it doesn't really mean that I'm really worried about anything. I am at -1, but a Z Fly or a regular Fly is still going to do a lot of damage. I know I'm faster than everything, especially with Rock Polish up, and I can just continue to get off some really good damage against basically whatever I want. I'm going to go for Fly. I hit this time, because 95% accuracy moves apparently miss more times than you'd think, right? That's why Air Slash misses more times than you'd like. But, for like me, Hydro Pump, I could hit 10 out of 10 times, but I can't hit Sleep Powders or Will-O-Wisps or Flies, right? He's going to Haxorus, and I don't want him to set up, especially if he has D-Dance. I know he can, but I'm not going to let him. And I'm not going to switch out because I want to get damage off on this just to ensure that Komodo can come in. I don't have to worry about rolls or anything with the clanging scales. We're going to see he burns a Z move right here. I didn't really quite understand that. It's not a bad move whatsoever. Maybe he expected me to switch out into something like Rotom, maybe into Rhyperior, because then if he goes for his Z Devastating Drake, and then if he goes for an Outrage or even Earthquake, he can knock out Rhyperior. That, I assume, was his best idea right there. And it doesn't really matter, because I am going to end up just getting knocked out. I wasn't even switching out anyway because the rocks were up and because of the Endeavor. Really good tech on his set from the Archeops, but I am going to go right from now into Rhyperior. I know I can take an Outrage, And I am going to make somewhat of an over prediction, but it was a coverall play. I knew I could take an outrage because he's not Life Orb, because the calcs were showing it's a 2 KO to Spadef Rhyperior with outrage. And it's close, so perhaps he's adamant, which kind of blows out the Komodo Hobanberry thing anyway. But he's not a +1, so I'm not worried. I'm going to go Fire Punch in case he went out in a Shaman there, in case he thinks I was going to go for Earthquake and knock out Haxorus. But I live at 1 again! That's 2 1 HP lives in 1 game. Guava's going to pop. Like I said, it was a roll, and I'm just going to go knock this thing out with Earthquake. This does invite in Shaman, which of course is going to be a problem. And I'm going to knock out this Haxorus here. I really like that Rhyperior did what I wanted it to do right here. Had he gone to Shaman, had he kind of choked, I would have put Shaman down to about, about 30%. And he would knock me out with a Seed Flare anyway, but I just wanted to cover in case he did perhaps choke, because Fire Punch would do about 49-57%. I'm going to switch out. I'm going to go into Rotom, because overall looking at Shaman and Ditto being his only 2 mons left, I know for a fact that he really, like, Rotom's not going to do anything. I can't beat Shaman, because if it is like Expert Belt or something, Seafire is going to obliterate me. And then Rotom against Rotom, like Ditto versus Ditto, or even if he's Komodo against Rotom, I can't beat it because of my coverage, and I mean, I'm not physical, so Willow doesn't matter, and Pain Split, it's a Ditto with the Ditto's HP, it's not really going to matter. So I end up sacking that off, and I'm going to go into Komodo here. He does have Dazzling Gleam. I was really hoping he did. I thought in my heart of hearts that Psychic was his best coverage. I was thinking Seed Flare, I was thinking HP Ice, I was thinking Psychic, and I was thinking Synthesis. He does have Dazzling Gleam as his coverage move. Very good tech from Geo, and that's basically going to be the game. Even if he misses Seed Flare here, I know for a fact I cannot kill him with a Adamant Fire Punch based on just, you know, how bulky his Shaman is. I assume he has defense or HP investment. We are going to lose 2-0. And unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, this all but knocks me out of the playoff race. It is unfortunate, and it is a little bit disappointing, but with the week I just had, the reason I went out to California was I was applying for a police department out there, and I didn't get accepted, so that kind of rattled me. When I got back, I had an interview with the police department, was filling out paperwork for them. Hopefully they hired me. And overall, this has been a very busy week, a little bit of a disappointing week. Obviously a disappointing season because I took now 3 consecutive losses, all of which I needed to win in order to stay close in the playoff race. But I can't beat the teams that are going to, you know, be fighting for the playoffs. We see Gator is now first place in his division. We see Wolfie, he is close to, you know, chomping on someone's heels, whether it's Chimp, whether it's John Mono. And of course, I've dropped 3 games in a row now. So I'm 3-5. It is extremely disappointing that I didn't let you guys down. I kind of let myself down. But on the same token, I know that I've improved. This is not a consolation prize. This is just some inward reflection, I should say. I know I've improved. I know I've used the team very well, and I've played well, and I've shown it. This was a very close match. You know, had Geo not had the Dazzling Gleam, I know I could have lived. It probably still wouldn't have mattered, just because I couldn't knock him out with 1 flamethrower, even though I was modest. He was extremely bulky, and it is a Shaman, and it's not stab, and even Clanging Scales, I couldn't knock him out because actually Flamethrower was doing more. So it probably would have still been like a 1-0, or even perhaps a 2-0. You know, you really doesn't know. He could have missed a Seed Flare, but I think the flinch I got on him and the Zine Fly that I missed against him, it kind of evens out. This really wasn't a hacksy game. It was a very good game. I am genuinely happy about this loss. I want to see Geo do well, and I'll cheer for him in the playoffs. He's unlike some of the other teams like Lars who beat me. Geo is someone who I thoroughly want to see win and do really well, especially against, you know, Envy, his person he builds with, a lot of the guys that he's been playing for in the playoffs. Like I said before, my favorite person to watch. I am okay with this. Doesn't mean I'm going to quit. I got John, Aster, Necro, and Mono left. I will compete. You guys know that. I know that. If I can't get into the playoffs, I can at least try and play spoiler or continue to play my hardest to see if I could sneak in. Kind of the same way I did last season. I do want to serve John and Mono 2 more L's before the end of this season. Then I have Necro and Aster. I know Aster's going to bring his A game, and Necro, of course, is going to want to catch that first W, but it's not going to be against me. So disappointed, but not discouraged. So you guys will see me next week for John, our rematch. I know he's going to, you know, prep much more aggressively to ensure that he doesn't lose again. He can't really afford to lose at this point, especially because he is playing for that #1 seed. I'm going to ensure that he doesn't. Kind of realized that my team is the New York Jets. Kind of always a thorn in the side, but never really the team. I'm just kind of a team that's a problem, that always plays opponents hard, but never really gets to the big show. I'm okay with that. My favorite team. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys soon. You know, leave your comments, what you guys thought, how I could have played better. I think I played as well as I could. I think I played everything very logically and very calmly, and, you know, just, he had the upper hand. Hack, Twist, and Shame was a really good combination, so thank you guys for watching. Go Sharpedos. I'm still trying here. I will still compete. You guys know that. And until next time, I'll see you guys later.